Wu and Susan Davis.
If the gentleman will suspend for just a minute, we'll pass out the amendment. Mr. Gowdy.
Mr. Chairman, I reserve a point of order on the amendment.
A point of order is reserved. While the amendment is being passed out, the gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes to explain his amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Holt-Woolsey-Wu-Davis amendment will ensure that the federal government is not contributing to the narrowing of curriculum in schools. Our amendment would amend the Fund for the Improvement of Education to support public and private partnerships that provide for foreign language learning, arts education, the teaching of American history, and services for students who are gifted and talented. The so-called setting new priorities that is before us today really does nothing to fix the problems that have been identified in No Child Left Behind. It's really an ideological slash and burn. What this bill does is indiscriminately cut funding to public schools by more than $400 million. And there's no method to the majority's madness in what is cut. And the bill before us today is really not a thoughtful response of concern to concerns raised by parents and teachers and students and principals and school officials. Take foreign language. Foreign language enriches a student's life and broadens her understanding. Understanding of foreign language and foreign culture is not optional in today's competitive business world. It is essential. And what about our national security? Now, imagine a storeroom full of hundreds of hours of audio recordings and documents in Farsi or Pashto or Urdu or Korean. The materials might hold the clues to prevent, for example, a future terrorist attack. And yet, only a handful have been translated because of a lack of trained linguists. We have those storerooms today. We lack those translators now. Need I remind the majority that we could not have found Osama bin Laden without skilled linguists. Yet today, the majority is seeking to end the only federal program that supports foreign language education in the K through 12 years. Now, there was a congressman from California a couple of decades ago who wrote what has become known as FLAP, the Foreign Language Assistance Program. His name was Leon Panetta. You know him as the director of the CIA, the nominee to be the Secretary of Defense. Director Panetta said recently, quote, "Language is the window through which we come to know other peoples and cultures. Mastery of a second language allows you to capture the nuances that are essential to true understanding." He goes on, "This is not about learning something that is helpful and nice to have. It is crucial," he said, "to the mission of his agency, and I might add, to our national competitiveness." It's why the Holt-Woolsey-Wu-Davis Amendment requires the Secretary of Education, in consultation with the Secretaries of State and Defense and with the Director of National Intelligence, to certify that we and their agencies are not experiencing a shortage of linguists needed for national security before federal support of these language programs is terminated. H.R. 1891 does nothing to improve elementary and secondary education. Ask the teachers. And eliminating the only federal program for foreign languages is not the end of it. Take arts in education and the associated economic growth. As a member of the Congressional Arts Caucus, I understand that arts play a crucial role in our society. They enhance student creativity. They provide Americans at all ages with the opportunity to view works of art and beauty and personal expression, to understand ourselves as a people, and they lead students to success in other areas. The arts inspire children to explore their own creativity and encourage positive development in the course of their educational careers. You know, the arts now have already been shoved to the margins when our schools need them the most. Today, the members of the majority, in presenting this bill, are arguing that, and these are their words, that the arts, quote, do not serve a federal role, end quote. So essentially they're saying that arts are a luxury to be funded in good times and ignored when budgets are tight. The majority couldn't be more wrong for all sorts of reasons. Now, the organization Americans for the Arts points out that arts generate more than $160 billion every year in economic activity and 5 to 6 million jobs. So not only are arts good for our cultural development as a society, they're good for our economic development as well. We need to encourage students to be creative. That's how they learn to create jobs as well and contribute to our nation's economic growth. We should listen. We should listen to the parents and the teachers. They aren't asking for the federal government to make it harder for students to graduate with a well-rounded education.
The gentleman's time has expired.
I urge adoption of this amendment. I thank the chair.
Ms. Woolsey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.